Coming up on this LinuxGamecast Weekly, OpenMW hits 0.17. Steam seeking industrial designers. There's a big list of games coming also, and it's about fracking time. After 4 years in development, Diaspora, Battlestar Galactica Sim, is ready. Oh, and also try to install Windows XP in French. Let's go. Welcome back to LinuxGamecast Weekly, the show that covers Linux gaming news, reviews, and whatever else we come up with. And speaking of this week we were going to have Mr. J back on, but unfortunately we had a problem with our audio. This little critter failed me, and this is an analog to digital converter that used for the mix minus. And without this guy, it's impossible to have two people on and not send the audio back or hear myself. So maybe next week we'll be able to con him into coming back. I had a fun time. He does a good job. And some people might be wondering, during that 0.5 update I did earlier, what happened last week was a serious misapplication of judgment on my part. I decided to try Windows 8 and put it on our capture box, is what we're using now. Used regular thumb drive. Not a big deal, but it didn't work. This is faulty. It has some bad spots in it. I came to find that out later. But not only was this my only thumb drive, I didn't have any physical media, CDs or DVDs with Fedora or Ubuntu on it. And I almost couldn't find a DVD drive to reinstall everything, but fortunately my old Sun Ultra 5 had one laying. Cool. But I'm still a bit upset about that whole ordeal. We got it installed, but what it boiled down to, the only installation medium I could find was this, a copy of Windows XP in French, and I almost got this critter installed. I was only defeated by the French keyboard layout. But after a bit more digging around, I found old Ubuntu DVD, forget what version, it was Pooh Brown, so definitely 8 or 9X series. Got everything put back together and get the render box back up and running. So that brings us to where we're at now, which is about 90%. That said, let's go ahead and get into some of this fun stuff that we've missed out on in the past week. And that first bit, Unity is starting to show up in little bits under Linux. What this is the Unity Angry Bots demo that comes with the engine. It basically just gives you an idea of how to use Unity and what it's capable of. You can take a look at the video we have posted of it running natively at LinuxGamecast. Fun stuff, looks beautiful. There's also another demo for Asteroids from game developer that's playable. This is downloadable in 32-bit or 62-bit binaries. Not really a point to doing it other than it's neat, it's cool, and I like that we have Unity definitely coming to Linux. Now, this next bit is a project that I've said before, I'm absolutely in shock, in awe of, and tetrified, I like that, terrified, petrified, and stupefied that anyone would be psychotic enough, or anyone's, to undertake such a massive project as reverse engineering the engine. Project's OpenMW, and they're out with 0.170. They now have a PPA for Ubuntu users, so you don't have an excuse not to install it unless you're too cheap to pick up a copy of Morrowind, which you can find on sale often on Steam, or on eBay for that matter. A couple of new things in this. New player control system, potion usage, and a main menu. That's a handy thing. Do keep in mind this is not really playable at this point, but it's fun to just go back and take a look around until it becomes playable. Then I'll never touch it because I lost a significant portion of my life to Morrowind when it was out. A couple of known issues. Stay out of bed. That'll lock the game up, and there's a small memory leak, but they're going to address that in the 0.18 version. Now, this is something put together for Steam because, as it says, this is going to be useful until Valve comes out with a Linux tag. This is a collection of games that will have, will be available for Steam when it launches. Currently we have 77 items. The guy putting this list together has said, if you know of anything or if you have a game that will be available on launch date, leave a note in the comments and we'll get that together. Right now, it's a lot of indie games, but I don't see any AAA titles here. Well, we see some old ones, but definitely looking forward to seeing all the games getting posted here. I'm just looking over myself. So, on that topic, well, with Steam, I guess we need to talk about Valve and Valve's hiring. And what are they hiring? They're hiring an industrial designer. Requirements: BS, BA, BFA, 6 years experience, thorough understanding of design, confidence with 2D and 3D design visualization tools, effective, articulate design, communication, and decision-making skills. Now, this has everyone saying, yes, they are really making a Steam box in whatever that is, probably going to run Linux, which is cool. Now, that's something I was thinking about, and I've talked to a couple of people about. If they do this right, we already know that the OpenGL performance, according to Steam's blog, is better than what they have running with DirectX. And I'm thinking, across the board, if they could get the source games running 5% faster than the DirectX counterparts under Linux. Some of the hardcore gamers are hardcore. I like that. It sounds metal, right? Come screeching over to Linux for that 5%, and I would like to see that happen. It's something that'd be terribly clever of them to do. Think about it. But this is our big bit. I woke up yesterday morning to an email of, it's out. Nazdaspora. It's a Battlestar Galactica sim that has been in development for 4 years. But it's one thing you need to know the history of. This spawned from the original TC total conversion of Free Space 2 called Beyond the Red Line. This was also available for Linux. The original demo was released in 2007. Never really went anywhere since 2008. The majority of the team went over to work on this new Shattered Armistice. Am I pronouncing it Diaspora? Either way, they went there, and we haven't heard anything out of them in 4 years. But it is out, it's playable, there's no packaging yet, so you have to build it from source. I'm going to put together a LGC how-to because, quite honestly, it is a bit of a pain. But the instructions in the README are followable. If you can do monkey see, monkey do, you can definitely get this critter installed on Arch, Fedora, or Ubuntu. I believe those were the 3 primary instruction sets in there. Definitely check this out. Multiplayer, it's a bit shaky, but it works great voice acting on this. Free Space 2 graphics, still, they look alright in 2012, and being a total conversion, you don't need any of the original Free Space, let's try that, art assets. So, check that out. And that's going to close out everything we have for this week. LinuxGamecast Weekly. Remember, you can scream at us in our forums at LinuxGamecast. Check us out on YouTube. And subscribe to this podcast if you have some weird mental disorder that makes you want to watch it every week. There's also video versions available, and it's on iTunes. That's everything for that. Be back next week, hopefully in a more timely manner. Cheers, guys.